Hello, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to the merch table. I am Mase. I like to rant about things here on YouTube, as well as put up gameplay of my streams, which you can find over at twitch.tv/TheMaceThing2. As you can tell, I have the image viewer up once again because, frankly, I'm lazy and I don't want to have to insert and then click these things on and off every time I want to use them. So I'm just going to be doing this and resizing as we go. Today's little topic, or today's little rant, is going to be about PlayStation. Good old PlayStation. Haven't actually bothered turning mine on until yesterday for the first time in over a year. Mainly because I heard about this coming and I wanted to have a look if it was true. For a company that originally said play has no limits, it seems that now we have a limit of 30 days with new purchases made after, I believe it's March or May of, I think it was March this year. I turned on my console. I was greeted with a big thing about new terms, conditions, everything else. I went through, I read it. Yep, that's fine. It's understandable. Look, to be honest, when it comes to these type of things, I think that Sony has the right to do what they need to do. But if you listen to all the online pundits, the good old people who love to just sit there and everything is the sky is falling, they're going to treat this as something that is going to destroy gaming. What do I mean? Well, this was a thing that got posted on the social medias recently. Basically, somebody went and double-checked after the April update got pushed through on the PS5 consoles, and finding out that there was a 30-day limit when it comes to new games. Now, as it says, after March 2026 update. So just to read this verbatim, just in case people can't see it on the screen. Thank you for your interest in 30-day timer that is being applied to new purchases. Affected content. Games purchased digitally after March 2026. Well, personally, I haven't purchased a game on the PlayStation Store in, that long. It's been way too long since I bothered. Offline functionality is being affected. If the console does not connect to the internet within 30 days, the license expires and the game may refuse to launch until connection is restored. That's a license handshake check. Very common. It's common on PCs. It's common on consoles. It is common on everything. Even your TV, even your Netflix subscription. Guess what? In order to check you have a valid license, it's going to turn around and do a handshake check to make sure that your license is valid. If your license is not valid, well, then guess what? It's going to turn around and it's going to stop working. 30-day is a valid period, not a sign of the account restriction or anything like that. So it doesn't mean that your account's going to be destroyed if you don't check in every 30 days. But the pundits online, once again, treating this like the sky is falling. The gaming is doomed. You will earn nothing and like it. Yes, we are definitely headed down that route, but this has nothing to do with that. Basically, what this is doing, as I've already said a few times, you go online, you go to boot up the game goes, hey, I need to check that you have a valid license for this game, because it is a digital purchase. Whether this will affect physical purchases, it technically cannot, because the CD itself, or the Blu-ray in this case, will have the relevant license installed on it. So basically, if the CD is the license, this is the same type of concept, except now applied to digital purchases. And that seems to be where the problem lies, is people don't seem to understand this. They don't seem to think logically. They just think in, oh my god, I just lost access to my games after 30 days. No, that is not what is happening. Please stop putting out stupid shit. But that being said, stupid shit is going to be a constant, as we can see here. People saying, just connect to the internet, not a big deal. My brother in Christ, that's not the point. God forbid a natural disaster happens to you and you can't pay your Wi-Fi bill 1 month and just can't play games you paid until you reconnect. My brother in Christ. If your Wi-Fi goes down and all you care about is your video games, you have some very screwed up things going on there, because I'd be more worried about, my pets, my partners, my family, my house, How am I going to eat? How am I going to cook? Believe me, video games is going to be the last thing on my mind. If it's the first thing on yours, my God, please go touch grass. So it doesn't matter if you have the internet, but it's a matter of principle. Bullshit. You shouldn't be okay with PS arbitrarily taking away your access to your games you spend your hard-earned money on. More comfortable you get with this, the worse it will get. We're frogs in the pot and they're slowly raising the heat and some of y'all aren't noticing. No, you're just doomsaying for the sake of getting some clicks and some engagement, you poor, desperate little person. But then again, I say the same thing because guess what I'm doing? I'm doing the exact same thing, except I'm doing it in a more logical and reasonable manner. Basically, this type of reaction is the sky is falling, gaming is doomed. I understand that we're definitely headed into the you will earn nothing and like it era when it comes to all types of information like with the rise of Netflix and all that type of stuff, we have definitely entered the you will earn nothing and like it era. And it's a bad era to be in. I don't like it. I don't like the idea. I always go physical media where I can, unless I am forced to get a game digitally. Or back in my review days, we had no choice. It was digital code or nothing. So a lot of the stuff I got was digital. But the thing is, we live in an age where everybody's perpetually online. If your internet goes off due to a natural disaster or something like that, your priorities shouldn't be, oh my God, my video games. I need to check in on my video games. It should be everything else going on around you. So this type of reaction is just doomsaying for being an idiot. However, they do have a reference, whereas the PlayStation Network back in 2011 went down for 24 days. Now, the thing is, and this is where my point comes into being, this is where digital licensing handshakes have always been a thing. Back in that era, like back, PS3, PS4, if you don't connect to the internet for a digital game purchase, you couldn't play it regardless, because it goes online to check for the license. Now, when you had the big network outage like this, yes, a lot of games did not work. Again, people, physical media, please keep investing in it. But, you lose access to whatever you have digitally. Fine, so be it. The internet is not perfect. Some things aren't going to be properly done. And frankly, the reaction of going out of your way to scream and shout at the heavens that, oh my God, the PlayStation Network went down for it didn't go down for full 30 days. It went down for 24. People couldn't get online to play their online games. There were still games that you could play. So it's ridiculous that people have this, oh my God, this is the sky and falling. Another person, totally stupid. And yes, I don't care about their handles or whatever. Go find them. I don't give a shit. As a day one PlayStation guy, it pains me to say that PlayStation has officially given reason to abandon the platform completely with this 30-day check-in bullshit. Just hand Steam an easy win. You want to know a little bit of a secret? Steam already does this. Xbox already does this. Netflix does this. Amazon Prime does this. Every website does a handshake of some description. What do you think a login is? It's a login to check that you have a right for access. PlayStation's just being upfront about it and decided to put a timer on it. That's the only thing that they did that was problematic. Every time you open up Steam on your PC or on your Steam Deck or whatever device you're running it on, it does a handshake with Steam servers going, this person is trying to launch this game. What do you think that launching game screen is? It's a license check. It's your computer saying to the Steam servers, "Hey, I want to launch this," and the Steam server coming back going, "Do you have the rights to do this? I need to check to make sure you have the license to do this." That's what it is. Steam does this. Xbox does this. PlayStation has already been doing this. Every time you launch a game, part of that connection is going to be the fact that you have to do a handshake license check. So guess what? It's already happening. It's been happening for years, but people just didn't notice. The only reason why they're getting upset is because Sony put a number on it and came out and said publicly, "We're doing this." It was in that terms and condition update that you put through in March. You know, that big ass screen that most people just went, "I agree," and moved on. It was in there, outlined, perfectly black and white, clear as crystal. But nobody reads those things. But they'll complain afterwards, saying that they've been bamboozled, they've been hijacked. No, you haven't. You just didn't read anything. Because nobody reads terms and conditions these days because they think, oh, it's too much legalese. You can find a lot of issues if you just look. So then we get people like this. "I'm not even a gamer, but what Sony's doing is nasty. If you don't play a game you own after 30 days, you lose your license to it and they can charge you. They're really trying to get rid of ownership." No. You don't. This is a thing that has actually been confirmed as well through Sony, through the assistants, that you don't lose the game license. When you buy the game license, you have that game license. That is game that you own. You have the license to download it, to play it, everything else. After 30 days, it's just the activation of the game to say, "Hey, do I have a right to play this offline?" Expires after 30 days, which, to be honest, when you come to digital gaming, that's not a bad idea. Having the game check in is a part of the process, has been for decades, but nobody just saw about it. Sony isn't trying to get rid of your right to ownership. They're not going to go, "Oh, if you don't play this game in 30 days or you don't put your PlayStation online in 30 days, then you lose all your games and you have to rebuy them." That's not what they're saying. But people like this go out of their way to put stupid shit out like this, trying to claim something that's not even true. Next one. It's interesting seeing the industry double down on providing how badly end-of-life plans are needed for games. This is actually the sort of thing that Stop Killing Games wants regulators, or MEPs, to see. Customers increasingly have no protections when it comes to video games. They do. Here in Australia, we have ACCC. We do still have consumer laws that protect purchases and basically things like end of life. But I understand what Stop Killing Games, which is I believe it's like a lobby group that has been going in the UK trying to get companies to understand that games need end of life provisions. So when a game, especially live service games, so when a game goes offline, you should still have access to certain features. They're not saying that you need to have access to all features, just the main parts of the game. So, for example, to pull it back to my lovely whipping boy, WWE 2K. As we have recently seen with the sunsetting of, or end of life of WWE 2K24, which was the first one to introduce the My Faction concept that had persona cards and everything else tied to it. When those servers went offline, that was the end of that content. So the My Faction content, the costumes and unlockables, like the costumes, the persona cards, they are no longer able to be obtained. You can still get all the DLC you downloaded. You can still get all the, you can get all your DLC. You can, but the thing is, you can't access community creations. You can't access online modes, and you can't access my faction. Now, what Stop Killing Games wants to do is have a provision set out in law that states that when a game goes into its sunset mode or end of life, that anything that is regarded as gameplay content is then available for download or for use within that game, no matter how long it's been offline. So in the case of WWE 2K games, the Persona cards from my faction, unlocks from the island, and especially with WWE 2K26, which has put everything behind a season pass, all that content, once the game has reached its end of life, should be made available to the paid customer if they have the correct licenses. So it's not like in 2 years when WWE 2K26 will be taken offline, it's not saying, like, Stop Killing Games is not saying you have to make this freely available. You still have to purchase the edition of the game that allows you access. So you still have to get the season passes, or you buy like the Monday Night Wars or Nitro edition or whatever it was, the big, $150, $200 piece of shit. That, you still have to buy that. But instead of having to go through and grind and have an online connection in order to check that you have access to these season passes, it would be you go on and you might still have to grind for them in game, but they still unlock. Unlike the Persona cards, which we're seeing in WWE 2K24 right now, which are now gone completely. You can't access them ever again. If you've got them now, that's fine. But if you delete your game and then go back into it or something like that, there's a good chance you might not have access to them. That's what this particular tweet is referring to. But the thing is, this has nothing to do with PlayStation. This has nothing to do with the 30-day licensing agreement. Licensing will still continue as long as you can still handshake the server. Now, Sony will still allow you to handshake the server to get those license refreshes. They're not going to take that away. They can't take that away, because then that would making your purchase null and void. So this they're trying to make something else relevant, but it's not correct. PlayStation has confirmed it's intentional. You bought a game, you play full price, go offline for 30 days, lock you out. Technically, yes. But it does not mean that you can't play it ever again. You just have to go online or launch it with your console online. If you're taking your console offline, there's only a certain reason why you're doing it. And I'll get to that in a minute. The rest of the tweet, here's the part that should scare you. No public announcement, no mention in TOS. Bullshit, it was. Primary console doesn't help. Well, that doesn't mean shit. Never did, never will. Affects all purchases after March 2026. PlayStation reports called it a technical measure. That is correct. PlayStation's correct in this. They didn't need to put a public announcement out, because the second they did, if they did, everybody would be doing exactly what they're doing now. Doomsaying. The TOS thing, it was mentioned in the TOS. Just nobody read it. The whole primary console thing is a joke. It never, having something said as a primary console was never anything about anything. It was ridiculous. It's a ridiculous concept. Now this final tweet is, I reckon, the reason why this has all been instituted. PS5 root keys leaked last year. Can't patch it. So they check every 30 days instead to see if your game's legit. I agree with this one. PS5 root keys. So basically the kernel level keys and everything were leaked last year. This is something that will never be patched, because this is the base of everything that is designed for the console. Unless they go out there and redesign the console from the base up, it's not going to happen. They can't patch it out. They can't do anything. Basically, this is how the PS5 got hacked last year. So instead, they've now instituted a system that requires you to go online and check to see if the games that you have purchased are legit. That's fine. Sony has every right to do that. So it means that everybody that runs PS5 Gold Hen or a hacked console of any description, they can't go and just do whatever they want anymore. Now, there's going to, obviously, hackers are going to find ways around this. They've done it once, they'll do it again. PS3 licenses were able to be found, decoded, and have a workaround. PlayStation 3 already does that. PS4 does the same thing. They'll work it out for PS5. So you can keep your hacked console. That's fine. You just might not have access to a few games for a while. Or if you want to purchase something legit, then guess what? You're going to have to keep your PlayStation legit. I don't see any problem with that. Sony has every right to do so. PS5 is their latest console. It is one of those things that they can do with it. But once it goes end of life, oh, you bet your ass they'll find a way to get around it. Just they did it with the PS3 and they're starting to do it with the PS4. So to sort of, this is one that I found on Instagram, which is quite amusing. There's so many bits and pieces supposedly in the April 2026 update that has been fixed and changed and everything. People are doomsaying it like crazy. Account age rules. There will be age requirements and parental consent for younger users. Must provide accurate info when creating and maintaining an account. Some regions are adding age verification system ID face scan for online features. This is the UK. This is Australia doing that. So for mature games, you're going to have to prove your ID somehow. Whether you jump on the PlayStation website, do a face scan, submit ID. That's the way it's going. It's unfortunate. It's shit. I hate it. But I did it on Discord. It took me all of 10 seconds. And I'm 42 years old. So I pass. Stricter enforcement. Sony can ban accounts aggressively for more violations, update penalties, and expanded actions against user-generated content. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. Increase use of automated tools for detecting harmful and illegal behavior. Okay, can't have people monitoring 24/7. That's fine. Clear a system for appealing bans or moderation. Yep, that's cool. Code of conduct over harassment, offensive content, exploits, cheating. Yep, all those hack consoles. That's what they're looking out for. They have a right to do it. Update rules around subscription cancellations, digital purchases, and refunds. Free trials may auto-convert to paid unless cancelled. That's a bit scummy. But, people just have to be aware. And policy changes, how data is user collected, tracking, moderation, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? They do that all the time. It's just making sure everything's nice and legal. Expand legal coverage. Terms now explicitly include code of conduct, PlayStation Plus terms, software licenses, store policies. Yep. That's fine. I don't see any real issues with what they've done. They have the right to do it as the content provider. You don't like it? Sell your PlayStation. Don't like it? Stop buying the games. Go buy physical. Physical games don't come with a 30-day restriction. So go do that. Get out from your little offices, your basements, whatever, and go and buy a physical game. Maybe if you start doing this, they'll start putting them out again. Push more of them. But when it comes to this whole 30-day thing, the sky's not falling. They're not taking away your rights. They're not taking away your games. They're just doing the same thing that they've always done, except this time they've put a number to it and they're being honest about it and putting it out there. Xbox does this, Steam does this, Nintendo does this, Sony's been doing it. Your subscription services, Netflix, Hulu, Prime, all that, they all do the same thing. They go check for a license. This is nothing new. This is not you will own nothing and like it. This is a bunch of people doomsaying over something that really just shouldn't have anything to do with this. People are stupid. I'm being honest. People need to realize that there are certain things that companies can do legally, and it's not infringing on your rights. To be honest, most of you probably don't even know what your actual rights are. So, you know what? If you don't want to buy the games, don't buy the games. If you're upset about it, then guess what? You may have to actually put your console online, which it probably is anyway, because most people already have it connected to Wi-Fi. Most people have it connected, other people have it connected via a LAN cable. If you're keeping your console offline, you're doing it for nefarious reasons. And that's it. You know what? People think that they're getting away with that the Sony are doing something underhanded. They're not. People need to smarten up. That's it. Go away.